Okay, good morning, everybody. Praise be to the Lord. Today is Wednesday. We're going to continue with our classes, right? And we're going to continue with reading. We're going to start to read the story about James Forten. So, everybody, I hope you have your book in your desk because we're going to start to read the story about James Forten. So, let's go to the page number 423, okay, because in that part the story begins, right? Remember, I will pass always the attendance list at the end of the class, so everybody must have to get the camera on. Page number 423. That is the number of the page. 423. 423. Is the story about James Forten. Right. Okay. Please, Diego Guardiola, start to read.
James Forten was born in Philadelphia in 1766 and grew up during the
Oh,
American
wait.
Revolution.
Page 423.
Thomas Forten was working on a ship when he fell to his death. James Forten was only 7 at the time.
Uh-huh.
His mother was devastated but still insisted that her son continue school. He did so for 2 more years, after which he took a job working in a small store. What James wanted to do was to go to sea. He was 14 in 1781 when his mother finally relented and gave her permission. America was fighting for its freedom, and James Forten would be fighting too. He knew about the difficulties between the British and the American colonists. He had seen first British soldiers and then American soldiers marching through the streets of Philadelphia. Among the American soldiers were men of color.
Okay, thank you very much. Uh, if you see this part of the story, start to make a lot of important stuff. For example, it was in 1781, the year. What do you think happened in those times in the United States? Because sorry, it was in no, yes, it was on the United States. The story. I won't say the port or the harbor. Sorry, to see what a harbor James Forten was. Only he said it was in Philadelphia, right? Only said he was in Philadelphia. He born in Philadelphia. Um, but my question is, what important event happened in those times in the United States? Not coming from the independence that had already happened 5 years ago. No, because the independence of the United States was in 1776. but I'm talking about another important event that happened in there. If you don't know, there are two important events in those times: a civil war between British and Americans. Exactly, Roland. Fight for freedom. There was a civil war, start a civil war between colonists, or in this case British, and independents, or people who wants the independence. That is one. The second one is slavery. The slavery starts to get his top range around the United States. Let's continue on page number 424. Let's continue on page number 424. Valeria, can you read, please? Yep.
A black shield in Philadelphia in the 17th had to be careful. There were stories of three Africans being kidnapped and sold into slavery. He had seen the captives on the ships. They looked like him, the same dark skin, the same with nose. But there was a sadness about them that was such his heart and frightened him. He had seen Africans in chains being marched through the streets on their way to the south. He never forgot the sight of his people in bondage, or accepting as natural that black people should be slaves. But the black soldiers Forten saw were something special. Marching with muskets on their shoulders, they seemed taller and blacker than any men he had ever seen. And there were African sailors too. He knew some of his men. They had been fishermen and howlers before the conflict with Great Britain. Now they work on privateers and navy ships.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I have three questions in here, and I need your participation, people. I really need your participation. The number one, what can you infer about the lives of the free African Americans from the danger they faced? What can you infer about the lives of the African Americans from the danger they faced? Or another way to see the question, what do you think the African Americans, when they arrive to America, right? What they start to see in those times, what they start to saw in those times. What do you imagine they start to saw? Mm? In those times, even though they were free, they still were not considered equal and could be kidnapped and sold. For example, in those times, the black people, the color people, never considered as same as a white people. Never. Never considered same or equal as the white people. Doesn't matter if they have two eyes, one nose, one mouth, 10 fingers, two hands, two legs, doesn't matter. They are not equal. Black people, right? Exactly. Discrimination. But not only discrimination. not only discrimination. It was um, slavery because they were kidnapped in those times. They were kidnapped and sold. Exactly, slavery. Esclavitud is slavery, right? In those times, black people were kidnapped until, doesn't matter if they were free, right? Or if they consider free people by themselves, but they were kidnapped in many places, many cases also. They were kidnapped and sold to who? We don't know. To do what? Maybe we call in this in Spanish servidumbre, like waiters, like um, um, for example, extra work without payment, without payment, people. For example, with servitude, they cook, they clean, they do everything without payment because they were slaves. So, what do you think of Forten? That is another question. What do you think of Forten was both touched and frightened by the sight of slave people? What do you think? Why do you think Forten was both touched and frightened by the sight of the slave people? You know, it's easy. He had pity for their terrible condition, but also could see that he might one day be that situation. In that case, means because he was a black people, black or colored people, because he was Negro, right? He saw other people who were slaves who were in bad conditions, and he started to think he could be in the same terrible condition than the other ones. Okay, and the other one, what do you think it means that that the black soldiers seem taller and blacker to James Forten? What do you think? O sea, ¿por qué cree que James Forten al mirar a los soldados los miraba más altos y más negros? They seem to be proud and free, no frightened, because they were African American. Just for that reason. Continue reading, Catherine. I can hear you now. Yes.
Philadelphia Harbor as it appeared around the time the
No.
American
Page 425.
sometimes he heard talk about naval battles, and he tried to imagine what they must have been like. In the summer of 1781, James Forten signed onto the privateer Royal Louis, commanded by Stephen Decatur. The colonies had few ships of their own to fight against the powerful British Navy and issued letters of marque to private parties. This allowed the ships under the flag of the United States to attack British ships and to profit from the sale of any vessel captured. The Realtor sailed out of Philadelphia in August and was quickly engaged by the British vessel active. A heavy armed fleet sent from England to protect its trade ships. The railway's guns were loaded with gunpowder that was sent down by a assisting gunner. Then the gunboat was put into the barrel and pushed against the powder. Then the powder would be ignited. The powder had to be kept below decks in case of a hit by an enemy ship.
Okay, very good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, if you see, start to talk about where in what year James Forten um, start to work in a ship in 1781. Okay, there is no questions to working here. So let's see. Let's see. I have something prepared for you right now. Okay, I have something prepared for you right now. Everybody can see the screen, right? Yep. Oops, it wasn't the button. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Everybody can see the screen. Okay. You're going to help me to fix the sequence of these passages. Okay, so let's go. I go in there. Okay, what happened? Hmm, I don't like this one. Let's see. Hmm, okay, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, if you see, you can see the screen, right? You can see the boy reading the book. Yep. Okay. It is important to know the order or sequence that events take place in the story. It helps you understand what you read. Let's go to the next page to learn how to figure out the sequence or order of the story. Look for signal in here. Look for signal words like first, next, last, before, after, and finally to help you figure out the sequence. You can also use other words clues in the text or your own knowledge. What I know clues to find the sequence. Okay. For example, in this one. Okay. Let's see. I have in here the Gainesville City Zoo Just receive it the first three animals. The first animals it received was a deer. The second animal it received was a monkey. The third animal it received was a lion. Children in Gainesville are excited about the opening of the zoo. Click on the box and fill in the number that tells what order the animals arrived to the zoo. Okay, let's read the story. Let's read this part. Just receive the first three animals. The first animal it received was a deer. Okay, one, one. Oops. Uh-huh. The second one, what is the monkey, right? And the third one is the lion, right? It's in this order. Let's check. That's right. Okay. The first one is the deer, the second one is the monkey, the third one is the lion. Let's continue. Now try this. Susan made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. First, she spread peanut butter on a slice of bread. Next, she spread jelly on one slice of bread. After spreading the jelly on, she put the two slices of bread together. Finally, she ate it. It was delicious. Hmm. Click on the arrow to select two orders she used to make a sandwich. Let's see. What is the first one, second one, third one, and fourth step? What is the first one? Next, she spread jelly on one slice of bread. Finally, she ate it. After she spreading the jelly on, she put the two slices of bread together. First, she spread peanut butter on one slice of bread. What is the first one? One, two, three, four. Four. Okay, we have one. What is the number two? What is the number two? Next, she spread jelly. Well, she spread jelly on one slice of bread. Finally, she ate it. After spreading the jelly on, she put the two slices of bread together. Which one? What do you think, people? This one is the number two. Sure, it's not this one. The number one, right? So then, what is the third step? She put the two slices on the bread. Yes, this obviously this is the number three. And the number four, she ate it. Let's check. That's right, people. Let's see other one. My goodness, it's a bus. It's a rapidito. Let's try one more. Bill wants to tell a friend what he does in the morning before going to school. First, I get out of bed. Next, I get dressed. Then I ate breakfast. After breakfast, I brush my teeth and make my lunch. Finally, I get on the bus and go to the school. But Bill's morning in order. Okay, we have this one. What is the first one? One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five. What is the first one? Finally, I get on the bus and go to school. After breakfast, I brush my teeth and make my lunch. Then I eat breakfast. Next, I get dressed. First, I get out of bed. What is the first one? What is the first one? People. Mhm. Is the number five? Yes. Is this one? First, I get out of bed. The second one, number two. One, two, three, four. The number four. Okay. Sorry, this one is number two. What is the number three? The number three. Number four, this one. Number five, this one. Let's check. That's right. That's right, people. Let's see. Now, now that you can place things in sequence, use those sequence words and write a paragraph to describe what steps you would take to brush your teeth. Okay, no, we don't do this because you have to write. Okay, and I can screen that, share the screen. Okay, now you're ready to do a special activity back in your desk. Use a variety of color of construction paper to make your favorite sandwich. It's difficult to do this also. Okay. Okay, let's continue with our book. Okay, let's continue with our book because we have to read until page number 427. We have to read, right? So let's see. Let's continue on page number 426. We still have 9 minutes. We can do it. Andrea, start to read, please. Just the first column.
What place?
426.
Forten's job was to carry the gunpowder from below to the guns. Up and down the stairs he raced with the powder a shot from the British ship, which stood overhead. There were large holes in the sails, and men screaming as they were hit with great shot that splintered the side of the ship. The smell of gunpowder filled the air as the captain Decatur turned to keep his broadside guns trained to the active. Sailors all about Forten were fallen, some dying, even as others crying for more powder. Again he went below decks, knowing that if a shot ripped through the power cats, or if any of the burning plants fell down into the hole, he would be killed instantly in the explosion. Up he came again with as much powder as he could carry.
Okay, very good. Just one question. What do you think was the most difficult part of James' job on the ship? If you read it, you know it. What do you think was the most difficult part of James' job on the ship? This one. Dealing with fear of being injured or killed. That was the most difficult part of James' job. Let's continue. Roland.
After that must have seemed forever with the two ships taking about each other like angry cats. The active lowered its flag. It had surrendered with the Carter brought his ship into Philadelphia, its guns still trained on the limping active. The crowd on the dock cheered wildly as they recognized the American flag on the Royal Louis. On board the victorious ship, James Forten had mixed feelings as he saw so many of his comrades wounded so mortally. The Royal Louis turned its prisoners over to military authorities. On the 27th of September, the Active was sold. The proceeds were split among the owners of the Royal Louis and the crew. The sailors with the worst wounds were sent off to be cared for. The others, their own wounds treated, were soon about the business of repairing the ship. Fortune must have been excited once the fear of the battle had subsided and the wounded were taken off. It was easy to think about the dangerous encounter in terms of adventure, and they had won.
Very good, thank you. What do you think Fortune's memories of the battle changed after it was over? Maybe he was not afraid anymore. He had survived and was able to think about the events of a different perspective. Could be. And from Forstan's point of view, was the decision to surrender to the British a good one? Yeah, it was a good one because it has the chance to survive. People, it has the chance to survive. Let's go on page number 427. I will read it. The missing crew was replaced. The ship was checked carefully, but its captain, excuse me. Okay, the missing crew was replaced. The ship was checked carefully, but its captain and found to be in fighting condition. The crew carried more ammunition aboard, more powder, and French provisions. Once more, thus they sailed for open waters. On the 16th of October, 1781, they sighted a ship, recognized it as British, and made for it instantly. As they neared, the second ship was spotted, and then a third decatur turned to escape the trap, but it was already too late. The three British ships, the Amphion, the Nymph, and the sloop Pomona, closed in. It was soon clear that the Royal Lois had two choices: to surrender or to be sunk. The Royal Lois lowered its flag. It was surrendered, and its crew were now prisoners. Forten was terrified. He had heard the stories of the British sending captured Africans to the West Indies to be sold into slavery. He knew that Pomona had sailed back and forth from the colonies to the island of Barbados, where many Africans already languished in bondage. It was time for dread. Okay, people, we're going to finish in here. I need you to stay in science because we're going to have the activity, okay? And it costs 10 points, right? So I need you to be punctual because you're going to solve those questions in here in class. Okay? It's not a job for the house, it's not a platform, it will be in class work. Okay? So I need you, all of you, connected to the class. See you at 8:20 for the class, okay? Of science. Bye bye.